So hello and welcome to this video. This is John
and Tom,
and we're racing Honda Integra DC2 and a really hot Brands Hatch.
Yeah, we've managed to qualify in pole, which is a good result, a little bit surprising, but it's very warm in qualifying, and obviously short track. There's about 30 cars out with us, so tricky to find a clear lap. But no, we're in a good spot. John starting the race.
Yeah, so excellent job from Tom in qualifying. Got us onto pole position with, which we did say was 3 laps quick enough to be on pole, which was really impressive considering the busy nature of the track. We've got Alfie Jones just alongside us, who's got EP3 Civic, which is very quick in a straight line, and Manoj Patel, who's also in an EP3 Civic directly behind us. So we've got some quick cars around us, particularly possibly slightly quicker than the Teg in straight line. So what I'm doing here is slowing the pack right down the start, trying to get everyone a chance to bunch up and get alongside each other. And we're now, I'm planning on getting the speed up, so just to the point where I'm just cutting into VTEC in second gear, so I've got plenty of second gear left to try and get a good start and maybe hold on into the first corner. So you can hear the revs rising. Just as the engine note goes hard, I'm going to try and hold it there all the way to the start of the lap. So you can see Alfie drop back there a bit just as he has to change gear, and the tactics just worked. He's coming back at us, but we're fully alongside through Paddock Hill. And I'm not going to move anywhere from the inside here to try and hold on to the lead into Druids. Just checking where Alfie is. Just clear of him here, so I can come across his nose, and we've got the lead secured into Graham Hill. It's obviously right behind us here, and trying to make sure that I can hold him off. Just as I come through CSCC, he was in my blind spot, and as it turns out, he's had a problem when he's pulled off, but I don't realise that yet. So you'll see me in a minute looking all over the place trying to work out where he's gone, because I think he must be right behind me, when in fact he's, unfortunately for him, pulled off on the inside of CSCC. So I stayed wide just in case he was in the blind spot. I didn't want to pinch down on him against the pit wall, but that's meant it's a good first lap, and we've actually got quite a tidy lead. I'm still kind of thinking, I'm not quite sure what's happened to Alfie, and as I come out of Graham Hill along bottom straight here, you just see in the distance there's yellow flags, and I can see Alfie's car on the infield, which to me looks like that's going to be a safety car, as that's a tricky position for the marshals to get out and clear it, and it's obviously a bit close to the edge of the track if anything else happened. So I'm expecting that we might see yellow flag before too long, and I think just as I come into looking through paddock, I see the yellows in the distance, and you can see that I've backed off. I'm out the window, let's slow everything down, it's a safety car.
In that case, and rounding out the top 6 is Robert Jarman in his 172 Clio Cup car there.
Lights out on the safety car. Has already pulled a significant gap ahead to our leader, the Honda Integra, being piloted, we believe, by John D at the start of this one. And John has decided to really back the field up, give himself as much of an opportunity to go. Has he gone? He's gone very early. He's gone through Surtees, it looks like.
Did he?
He went through Surtees.
Right. That looks like those lead 3 are
a significant portion ahead of the number 8 Civic of Semple and Albert. So a very unconventional restart location, but it's worked.
Well, it hasn't given him much of an advantage, has it, though, actually? No, because that's Manoj Patel in the 712 was right with him. And interesting that Patel takes the outside line through Paddock Hill Dren, trying to carry as much speed. Not really sure if that worked.
So the commentators were right, I did go through Surtees a bit early. My thinking was, as I mentioned, I wasn't sure I'd have the straight line speed over Manolge, who was now in second. And as you can see, actually in the front straight, he stayed right with me. But I wanted to try and pull a little bit of a gap through a corner, so I wanted to have a good run into clearways to give myself that chance to pull the gap. And it kind of worked, and maybe a little mistake from Manolge and paddock, it will look better than it really was. And me trying to do some quick laps to get away from the field, but I'm not really showing the pace that I need to be able to get away from them, so I'm running in the low 56s at this stage, and there's a few cars behind me, both Manolge and particularly the Semple and Albon Civic number 8, which are running a bit quicker than that, as we'll see over the next few laps. Well, perhaps we won't really see, because we unfortunately haven't got the rear camera working, because it got very hot, died after 30 seconds of the warm-up lap. But you'll see me starting to check mirrors and trying to see where people are and follow what's happening in the race behind me, but I'm not really getting away from it.
Yeah, the gap came out to about a second and a half over the first flying lap. Gradually fall back into the clutches of the two seconds behind.
So what we take from that? Good at restarts, perhaps need to work on my long speed.
At this point in the race, I made the mistake of putting on my full racing gear in the pit lane. On the off chance that a safety car comes out, because it's a very short lap, so there will be no chance to change. But yeah, you do end up cooking in the pit lane.
Which is different, because in the car, you're also cooking. One of our competitors had a thermometer in their car, which they had a peak temperature of 62 degrees at this race. It was really warm. See the first traffic appearing in the distance there. And me trying a bit too hard through there and not being able to get the throttle quick enough. Slight to me to you, trying to work out there which side wants me to go, but it's all good.
At this point, the number 8 Civic is catching at a rate of knots. It's kind of less than a second behind.
Yeah, I think you probably see me starting to check mirrors more there. You sort of just checking the inside mirror to see if he's getting close enough to make a move. So I'm obviously starting to feel the pressure a bit from Craig Albon in the operator this time.
touring cars, that wasn't it?
It was a bit touring cars. He did come up and say sorry afterwards. And it was one of those where I saw it from his camera in the steward's room, which it looked like there was kind of half a gap there, and then by the time he got there was no gap there, and he did apologise. So these things have been racing, but we're down to 7th. So for this lap, I'm just really trying to make sure the car feels kind of okay. It's not quite right. The right rear tyre was knocked somewhat out of alignment. You can see with the naked eye when we finished the race. And it doesn't quite rotate as nicely through left-handers as it did previously. But it's basically okay. Okay, it doesn't feel unsafe. So it's time to start pressing back on again and see if we can get some places back. So just up ahead of us now, it's Rob Jarman in the yellow and green Clio, and he's just behind the Uren and Uren Civic, which are in 5th and 6th at the moment. They're still quite close. I think we're only about 7 seconds or so off the lead at this point. To get my act together a bit more now and trying to get back on the tail of the cars in front, making a little bit more progress up towards Rob. There's a bit of a lock up there. And we're starting to get well in amongst the traffic now, so it's starting to get quite interesting as to how you plan your way through the guys having their own race. Almost lock up there, maybe just a touch of one, but managed to roll back off the brakes before it became too big an issue. This is unfortunate timing, trying to go around the outside of the ground. It's never going to be the quickest way to manage the traffic, but you catch up with people where they catch up. They're all busy having their own races. No hard feelings, you just got to find the best way through the traffic. And usually if it takes one in one place, it will give it another. See, I've lost a bit of time to Rob in front of me just through that little element.
Very wisely figuring out that there's a lot of cars that were battling in the immediacy, and just thinks, okay, I'll get myself out of there, cool it down a little bit, get myself into clean air, just focus on the cars directly ahead.
That's right, and of course all of this battling actually, it's we're actually seeing that John D has started to get back into the picture in the Integra that was on pole position and pulled away, the black car, and he is starting to get back onto that group.
John D has gotten ahead, Jarman, sorry, the number 3 car has gotten ahead of the 94, but the Integra has just got past the 94 as well, and is now looking at the back of that Peugeot 306 as they go up out of Paddock Hill Bend, 3 wide as they come into Druids, and it's the battle of the late breakers. Round the outside, D looking to hold the line, gets the momentum as they come down the hill towards Graham Hill Bend, holding the inside, and that should complete 2 passes in as many corners for John D. That's a great recovery after the early half. That was good.
I've been watching this for far too long, but that was impressive.
That was very
a
good.
pass, wasn't it? That was so nicely done in that Integra, and I remember when those cars, as I commented yesterday, I worked in junior Formula. Every single driver in Formula 3 wanted one of those for some reason. I think it was possibly the quickest car they could get with the insurance they could afford.
It was just
being 18 years old.
Really good driving, and still bobbing and weaving along the track. Because now, sorry, that's the number 3 of Jarman, and in the outside is Michael Wheeler, the Civic, looking to make a move into Paddock Hill as well. I got confused.
So the commentator seems quite like that. It's quite an exciting bit of racing with getting past both the Urens Civic and then around the outside of James Wilson in his 306, who was having some gear selection problems because the gear lead didn't come loose apparently, which must have been an exciting moment. And then obviously with Rob helped me by getting inside the Urens, which slowed them down a bit to get the run down the straight. A lap later he was a bit bold coming through clearways and gave me the really good run to get past him as well. So I'm just catching up here to Peter Parkin, another 306, who's actually a lap down because he's already pitted, but still going possibly 2 laps down, but still going very quickly, and it's kind of right on. He's usually one of the front runners, so he's right on our pace. So I'm trying to keep up with him. And see if I can get past him as well and keep the pace up. But quite pleased that I've managed to get some of those places that we lost back.
It's worth noting that Rob also doesn't have his race engine in for this round, so he's probably down on a bit of power compared to all of the other cars in and around the top 6, who's done a really good job with that.
Yeah, when that's got another 30 horsepower on board, which is apparently what the difference will be, that will be a very competitive car. And Rob driving it really well. Time for the pit stop. So an aggressive entrance in the pits, and possibly then overslow it so I don't carry quite enough speed over the line, but that's okay, better than speeding. And we're in for a quick handover to Tom. Top work from the pit crew, nice controlled pit stop, probably just a little touch long. I think we did a 1:39 in the pits, and talk about manual engine a bit later. We managed to get it in at 1:30, so lost a bit of time from there, but a good safe pit stop, much better than we've managed so far this year, so a good improvement.
Yeah, it's possibly a bit of a mistake on our end, being down the near side of the pit lane means that it's much harder to judge the pit exit. So if you're obviously close to the exit, you can release with a few seconds to go, and it's easier to judge. Not sure the Clio had seen me there.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice to avoid the Clio there. Good work.
The area of driving I need to improve upon. It's quite tricky as a second driver to come in and then be immediately bang on the pace. So a lap or 2 to get into the flow.
So that's possibly slightly harsh. I think a lap to get on the pace, maybe, but your second lap is, I think this one ends up being quicker than anything like in the race, so yeah, we're definitely on the pace quick.
Doesn't rotate the way it did in qualifying. We're running different tyres for the race compared to what we use in qualifying, so could be a combination of that and the slight readjustment of the rear geometry, but it just isn't quite as sharp as it was. Gears for Druids as well. It doesn't quite pick up the way you'd want to in third, but second isn't right either, so it's one of those things.
Yeah, generally the gearbox is pretty good around here, but you're absolutely right, Druids is just kind of between gears, isn't it?
Same for clearways. I feel like I was struggling for clearways a lot this race, but it's just when the tyres get warm, it's very tricky to get right. Just up in front, see the blue car up there is Mr. Papworth's, so that would be for, I believe, his 4th place on the road.
That's right. So the pits here, I'm starting to get excited because Tom's putting some pretty quick laps. Manage is a bit in traffic and we're gaining. There's a couple of laps where Tom gains a couple of seconds a lap on Manage, and we're thinking, could we still do it? Could it be on for the win?
Notice this MG up ahead, it's a back marker. I think that might compromise Pappy, so I'll take a wide line for clearways to try and get myself a run onto the front straight. I get squeezed a bit on the exit, so I can't get on the throttle as soon as he would like, which gives me an opportunity to get a run. Just managed to outbrake him on the outside into paddock.
Nice move. Two
cars you can see just in front of this blue Peugeot are 3rd and 2nd on the road. It's Rob again, and then the red number 8 Civic, which has now been handed over to the co-driver, isn't going quite as quick as Greg Alvin was.
Totally simple, I think, isn't it? Very polite there from Matt Subel as well, just letting you past on the bottom straight. Very,
always appreciated.
Very tidily done.
So yeah, Rob kind of having a little look there, just checked them both up a little bit. You can see Rob without his race engine. really sucking the straight line department. Gives me a bit of a squeeze there. But proper in the mix now. And a really good lunge from Rob to take second. I think about trying to get it down the inside there, but with the gearing it's hard to get the acceleration, so it's a moderate homicide there on the Puma. I think everybody might be a bit disoriented, so I'm trying to give everybody as much space as I can. Yeah, I think it's one of the Jackson cars, so shame for them. I'm going to see if I can find my way past the Civic. Brake him. He's actually a lot earlier on the brakes than I expected, so he managed to grab an apex there as well.
Very nice move, and I think very sensible. Just holding back when there was a little schmozzle up in front.
Now straight on the back of Rob, yeah, you can see again, got a fair bit more straight line speed than he does. So similar situation to the Papworth pass, and I think just going to go wide and see if I can get by.
D now attacking Jarman on the Brabham straight. He's got a lot of speed down, moves to the outside and has made the pass happen before the start-finish line. So the Integra, having gone off earlier, has been a phenomenal effort on the recovery drive, up into second.
Yeah, a bit awkward with the Puma was. I couldn't quite brake where I wanted to, but ended up having enough of a gap to Rob that it wasn't too much of a problem. So now to try and hunt down Manoj. Unfortunately, about this point, my brake pedal is starting to go very long. I lose quite a lot of confidence in the brakes. I still can't quite see Manoj at the minute, so just trying to do the best I can, but not necessarily be latest of the late breakers, just because I've got to make this pedal last to the end.
Yeah, on the pit wall, I was starting to get quite excited because we were still chipping away at Manoj most laps, but with a couple of things, the time it took to get past the people you're racing against, and that hold up a bit with the incident between Tony Semple and the Puma. You kind of didn't quite get through the traffic as quickly, so you're still about 9 seconds back from Manoj at this stage. It's probably a not knowing about the brake problems, but even then it's looking touch and go, even if you're on your very top speed, that you'll be able to get back to Manoj by the time the 40-minute race ends.
Testing to see that I hadn't just exploded anything, which is why I hesitated a bit before having a look at the Puma. Struggling to hold on, not really feather the front through there. James let me through there, but it's just a bit of an awkward spot, and I don't particularly want to end up in his passenger side door, so it's a little bit of a miscommunication perhaps, but no great amount of time lost.
And discretion definitely part of our those kind of things. We don't be driving into people. Also for the pit wall there, that Manuel just kind of got the message and he's really back on it lap time wise. So Tom's still chipping away a bit, but it's going to require something particular through traffic or a little problem, I think, if he's going to be able to reel Manuel in at this stage.
Sure, the Clio see me there. Obviously, these three are on their own battle, so Manuel is in sight now, but he's still quite a long way up the road. So just again, discretion, that part of valor.
These three are all mates as well, and they're having their own scrap on track, and it's good fun to see them having a good race.
That's checkered flag.
Checkered flag early due to an energy substation failure. I'm trying to think I've ever heard that as a reason for an early finish for a race before. But apparently they lost all the comms to the marshals because of that. So race finished about 4 minutes early. So you maybe spared 5 laps of trying to chase after Manuel, which I'm not sure we're ever quite going to capture because it's driving really well. And fun race though. Could have been possibly a less fun race if we hadn't got a little trip through gravel, but lots of good racing, and second overall was a really good result for us. Very pleased with one class. And thanks to our great pit crew, so that's Will and Jess, Jake and James, who come down and support us. And
to all the marshals as well.
Of course, thank you to all the marshals. Horrible
In the
conditions.
blazing sun.
Horrible conditions to be wearing and no mates are on pursuit, so thank you very much, guys and girls. On to Cadwell Park, where we'll be out 27th of June.
And depending how badly this has gone, you may or may not hear your voices ever again.
Thanks everyone, cheers.